Welcome to Glove Talk, your weekly news of boxing. If you enjoy this kind of content, make sure to hit the subscribe button. If you enjoy the video, make sure to hit the like button. With that said, let's talk about the fight. Okay, as you guys can tell, I'm still moving into my studio space. I'm still figuring everything out. The audio isn't quite perfect yet. I have to tweak it some more, so I'm sorry if it doesn't sound right. I'm getting there. I promise it will get better. But first, before we get into everything, let me know your thoughts down in the comments below on this fight, who you have winning, how you have them winning. It's a fantastic fight. And with that said, what we're going to do is first talk about stats, then we're going to talk about a few general categories and how these guys compare, and then I'm going to give you guys my prediction at the end. Okay, stats wise, Ryan Garcia is 22 years old, Luke Campbell is 33 years old. Does this matter, and how much does it matter, and who does it favor? It depends who you ask. Depends who you ask and how they're trying to twist it. If they're a Ryan Garcia fan, they will say, well, he's younger, he's fresher, he doesn't have any wear and tear on him. If they're a Luke Campbell fan, they'll say, well, he's 33, he's experienced, and Ryan Garcia can't bring anything to the table that Luke Campbell hasn't seen before. How much either one of those elements is true, I don't really know. And how much they're going to play a factor in this fight, I'm not sure. I think the experience thing will play a factor to a degree, but in general, I think one thing we can talk about when it comes to age is both guys are going to be in phenomenal shape. We're not going to have to worry about them going full 12 rounds at full speed. I think that's the biggest element I can touch on when it comes to age and how it will affect this fight. It won't in that sense. So other ways, we can talk about that later in this video. Height now. Ryan Garcia is 1 inch taller, not a big deal. Luke Campbell has a 1 inch reach advantage. It'll play a little bit of a factor because Luke Campbell likes to fight really long. And although Ryan Garcia has a good jab, he kind of utilizes that lead left hook a little bit more. And so I think for Luke, that's a good advantage to have going into this fight. Another thing to note, Ryan Garcia is orthodox and Luke Campbell is southpaw, and we will definitely touch upon that later in this fight and why that could matter a little bit. So now some general categories. If you're gonna talk about Ryan Garcia, you pretty much have to talk about hand speed, right? I mean, it's kind of the first topic you have to bring up. Does Ryan Garcia have really good hand speed? Yes. Does Ryan Garcia's hand speed get overhyped? Yes. What you do on social media is not equivalent to what happens in the ring. What do I mean by that? Namely, yeah, it looks super flashy on social media, but in the ring, it's not like he has the fastest hands in boxing, okay? Go watch Gary Russell Jr., okay? There's other guys that are just as fast, if not faster. But what I will say is that his hand speed is quick and it's powerful, unlike some other guys that have really fast hand speed. And we'll talk about power next. Luke Campbell has very solid hand speed. He's not slow, he's not super fast. It's very solid hand speed. And where you see it kind of come out a little bit is how he throws really nice straight punches quickly and right to the point and accurately. So his jab, his straight left, very solid, quick to the target kind of punches. So that's how they kind of match up hand speed wise, in my opinion. Power wise, Luke Campbell I think has very solid power. He's 33, so it's not going to change. It is what it is, but he has the kind of power to keep you off of him. He has the kind of power to make you step backwards. So I think in this fight, if he's effective with it and accurate with it, he could certainly hurt Ryan. Certainly could hurt Ryan. Ryan Garcia's power is really tough to judge because there's some people that think Ryan Garcia has unbelievable power, and then there's some people that say his power is exaggerated because of look who he's fought. What do I think? I think it's a little bit of both. I think when Ryan Garcia was first going up through the ranks, and when I first started watching him, I was not impressed with his power at all. I was like, wow, he's fighting some real tomato cans. These guys are getting hit with shots. They're wide open. Yeah, it's gonna look impressive. But Ryan Garcia is 22 years old. When I first saw him, he was like 19 years old. He looked like a 19-year-old physically. Look at him now. He's starting to get more of that man strength and physique, and that is thanks to the next category I want to talk about, which is X Factor. And that's just general category about elements in this fight. Eddie Reynoso now training Ryan Garcia, and him being in that Canelo camp is a huge factor for this fight. Huge factor for this fight. Look at that physical difference, and Ryan Garcia is so noticeable. It's very notable. And the other thing is the experience he's getting in there. I've seen him kind of like, Canelo sparring, basically Canelo kind of taking shots from him and kind of playing dummy and kind of, messing with him a little bit and kind of showing him head movements and, showing Ryan different things, different angles. When you see that, you just know that Ryan's getting an education that he wasn't getting before. I think Ryan's father did a fantastic job to get him to the level he did. But now he's going to that, totally different level with Reynoso. So I talked a little bit at the very beginning about Luke Campbell being a southpaw and that being a factor. I think it could be a little bit, because Ryan Garcia professionally has only fought one southpaw. Amateur wise, he's fought plenty of southpaws, but this is not the amateurs. And this is not a tomato can that he fought one time as a pro. This is the biggest fight of his entire career. And when the lights are on him and the pressure's on and things are just a little bit different, because you're not fighting someone that's orthodox, you're fighting someone that's a southpaw and they're stepping on your front foot. Little things like that can make, young fighters a little bit more cautious or just not as confident, and getting in their groove and finding exactly what their game plan is and sticking to it can just, it can take a minute. It can just take a minute. Do I think it's going to be a huge problem for Ryan Garcia? No. No. They brought plenty of sparring partners in that are southpaw for him to feel comfortable. But it might be just him getting used to a southpaw that fights very long and just kind of getting comfortable. So expect a round or two for Ryan Garcia to get comfortable. That's all I think in terms of the southpaw element in this fight. Luke Campbell, X factors for this fight. Well, the big thing I know about Luke Campbell is that he has levels, and he can go through the gears to get to those different levels. And when he does, he can have success. We saw that with the Linares fight. We saw that with the Lomachenko fight. The thing, though, that is interesting with Luke, and this is, I think, even a bigger factor for him in this fight, is confidence. What is his confidence? What is his level of aggression in this fight? If I'm, in his corner and I'm training him and I'm trying to get him into this fight, he needs to be aggressive from the sound of the bell. He needs to try to push around Ryan Garcia. He needs to be physical. He needs to not go backwards and give up a single step if he can, because I would try to make Ryan Garcia as uncomfortable as possible. Luke Campbell has been uncomfortable and dealt with it and then adjusted. Ryan Garcia has not really done that before. The one fight he had, I believe it was Morales he fought, where it was an uncomfortable fight. Things weren't going as planned, and we didn't see Ryan do anything different. Now, you could blame his corner, or you could just say Ryan doesn't have any different levels, or he didn't make adjustments. I don't know. But if you're fighting a young 22-year-old who's basically gotten his way in almost every single fight he's ever been in as a professional, you got to make him uncomfortable. And if Luke isn't confident, it's really going to affect this fight, because Ryan Garcia is going to only get more confident as the rounds go on if he's having success. Okay, prediction time. This is super tough to predict. If you think this is an easy prediction, like, oh, this guy's easily going to win, I've heard sometimes people say easy work for Ryan Garcia against Luke Campbell. I don't understand that. I don't understand that at all. I've seen people also say that for Luke Campbell. This is easy work for Luke Campbell. I don't get that. I don't understand how people see that, because this is super hard for me to judge, because there's so many questions to be answered, namely from Ryan Garcia. This is going to answer a lot of them. I think most of them. I think with Luke, we know what he is. He's a world-class fighter, and every time he stepped up to, go after major belts against multi-weight world champions, he's failed. But that said, it's not like he got completely blown out and wasn't in the fight. With Ryan, he's never fought a single world champion or a former world champion as a professional. So we don't really know what his ceiling is. We don't know how good he could be. At first I thought Luke Campbell, and then I had a moment recently where I thought, wow, Ryan looks really great, and he has that Canelo camp. I'm kind of leaning towards Ryan. I'll just be honest with you guys. I am going to give the slightest edge to Luke Campbell. I'm going to say it's because of that experience and what I've seen him do. And that's all I can go off of. I can't say, oh, I think it's just because he's so much better than Ryan. I just don't know what Ryan is yet. And quite honestly, I can't make a full judgment on Ryan until I see how he performs here. And guess what? If Ryan Garcia wins, goes in there and knocks out Luke Campbell in 4 or 5 rounds, I'll be surprised, but I won't be completely shocked. I'll be impressed. That's what it'll be. If it goes the distance, I'm worried that Luke Campbell will get screwed. I'm sorry. I mean, it's Golden Boy. I'm always nervous when it comes to their judges. Do I think Luke can win by KO? Absolutely, because Ryan's chin hasn't been tested. There's so many X factors in this fight, and I'm just so excited to watch it this weekend. With that said, that's what I got for you guys. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. Thanks for stopping by, and we'll talk to you later. Thanks.